then we got to move on. Let's talk about the strikes, guys. Obviously, I've been saying it now at the top of every video. Recently, Hollywood's a chaotic mess right now. The WGA and the SAG-AFTRA Guild is on strike against the AMPTP. If I'm saying AMPTP, yep, a little bit of a jumble there, but you get
the
it.
producers. Yeah.
Producers, yeah. And I support guilds. I am sure CJ supports the guilds as well. Let's dive on into right now the WGA, as they have been on strike for over 100 days, way more than the actors. But there seems to be some ground possibly being made. They did come. Here's the thing: the AMPTP didn't even give a counter proposal to the Writers Guild before they went on strike. They sent the producers what they would like, what their argument was for why they needed it. The producers just looked at it and said, no, we don't want to do it. We're not even going to counter proposal. Go on strike. Go ahead. And they haven't been back to the table in over 3 months. Well, now they finally have come back to the table. The first time they did so wasn't that great. They just kind of gave whatever the Directors Guild agreement was. They shoved that in the Writers Guild face and said, okay, how's that? Stupid. But now they finally came back to the table, and it looks like, now this is not confirmed by either side, but there are some heavy whispers that a big thing is AI. All right. This is very important. I'm going to read this here. Okay. So they sent in their counter proposal, and the producers have given into the WGA regarding protections from AI. AI should never get writing credit. That in anything that gets written should always go to a human writer credit, and they will get paid for that. Nobody on either side, again, has confirmed that, but that is huge because that is giving AI that the studios are pushing for. They are actually going to give in on this and drop it and let human writers get credit and only be the ones to actually get writing credit for movies. CJ, what do you make of this? How big is this for you?
Yeah, so I think that this particular proposal is one that I am for. I use AI in my business in some way, shape, or form almost every day. It is a tool that is we're just now. I mean, this is basically the first year that it's kind of mass produced and mass accessible to a lot of people. We're just now. This is just the start of the new sort of AI revolution, and I think it's going to turn our whole way of doing things sort of upside down in many different ways and many different places of work, including writing, obviously, with these large language models. And so I think that as any tool, whoever is using the tool should be getting the credit. Like you wouldn't say to an editor, I'm going to credit Adobe Premiere, the editing software. I'm going to credit Adobe Premiere for editing the film. You would never say that.
Right.
You would say, we used Adobe Premiere, or, special thanks to Adobe or whatever for helping us out with this, or, you would never say, we're gonna give the credit for editing the film to DaVinci Resolve. No, you're gonna say the editor edited this using this tool, and that's how we went along. So it's not like ChatGPT or any of these other language models are going to be writing movies straight up, and that's going to be the end of it. Anytime you use a language model, and this is going to be the case for a long time, anytime you use a language model, it's going to be filtered through people and assessed and put together and changed and edited and warped and all these different things. It could be a start to something creative, but at the end of the day, it's still a human person that needs to touch it and develop that creative process, through other people, through other writers, different things. And so I think this is actually a really good proposal by the studio. You said the executives are or the producers are the ones that are making this proposal, or kind of giving into this sort of.
Yeah. The producers are going to give into it. It's not confirmed, but I have a feeling because there's going to have to be leeway on both sides. Both sides are going to have to walk away losing things that they want to ultimately come together and form an agreement. I do think maybe the studios will have their way on AI a little bit, but overall, I think the writers are digging their heels in. If they've been on strike for over 100 days, they're just going to stick their ground. And I think SAG-AFTRA is going to do the same exact thing, basically saying, meet our demands, we're not going to move. And I think that this now gives me hope that we're getting closer to an agreement. It's not going to come in the next like 2-3 weeks. It's not. But I have faith that by November, I think that both of these strikes will be over. Where before this announcement, I really thought both strikes would be over January and February of next year. So this is a huge step. It's not going to change anything like in the next coming weeks, but it is a huge step. So I'm glad.
Yeah, I do think, I mean, I think too, I've seen a couple of things. There are some writers, I don't know if it's their official position, but they wanted to put a ban on AI, and they wanted to say you are not allowed to force this onto us, and we're basically not allowed as a union to use AI language models in general to help assist us in writing these films or writing any projects that we're up to or whatever. I think that is a mistake. I think that for any industry at this point to reject AI in any of its forms is a huge mistake, and they're going to be left behind in the dust in a business sense. And I think there can be some sort of proposal of basically what the producers are proposing of, you can use AI, you're still going to get the credit. You don't have to use it if you don't want to, but you can use AI, and you can, we're not going to use it to replace anybody or replace anything. But use it in your own in the way that you see fit, and you're going to get the credit. I think that's probably the best possible solution to that problem.
Yes. I just I'll say it again. AI cannot overtake writers. It just can't be a substitute. So
right. Yeah.